Hello, this is Alan Fogelquist. I'm the editor of the Global Geopolitics and Political Economy website, the Global Analyst page on Facebook, and a number of uh, blogs and social media pages on Twitter and elsewhere in the social media. I have a PhD from the University of California at Los Angeles, which I received in 1990. And since that date, I've specialized in international politics and human issues with global impact. Today, I'll be commenting on the presidential debates between the Democratic Party presidential candidates that appeared on that were hosted by CNN in Columbus, Ohio last night, October 15, 2019. Here are a few impressions about the debates and the manner in which debates took place and their relative value or lack thereof for informing voters of what their choices are in the coming presidential elections. Some of the major issues discussed last night in the presidential candidates debate were, first of all, the impeachment of President Donald Trump. A second major issue discussed was health care reform and financing. During the course of the health care reform discussion, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders were asked yes or no questions about whether or not their health care plans would require tax increases for the middle class. There was also discussion of the recent events in Turkey, Syria, and the Turkish occupation of sections of northern Syria as a result of Trump's more or less green light to President Erdogan of Turkey, and what the possible course of action is now that the invasion has already taken place. The entire debate and the discussion of the debate afterwards in the major media and some of the so-called alternative media, right and left, raises some general questions about accuracy and relevance of discussions and presentation in the mass media, the mass broadcast media. One of the big problems in this discussion is the lack of focus on issues of major human importance, and instead focus on public relations gimmickry and techniques for persuading or manipulating the public rather than informing the public. That is a major problem in the mass media. In the course of further presentations on this YouTube channel and other social media where I will present embedded versions of these videos. I'll go into further detail and further elaboration on the themes that I've just presented. One problem related to the lack of focus and attention to real issues or real issues of human importance, and a presentation of the real facts and the real possibilities for responding to ongoing problems in the world, is that there's a great deal of exaggeration and a great deal of emotion. Sometimes this is in the form of a deliberate effort to manipulate an audience and persuade an audience through cheap shots and various forms of gimmickry and propaganda. This is very often deliberate and calculated. Other times, the discussion simply reflects the prejudices and ignorance and emotional response of the presenters, discussants, and interlocutors on a media forum. There are also big problems in semantics, in the use of jargon, in the meaning of terminology and terms that are used in the discussion. Instead of using clearly understood and accurate and precise and clear definitions of terminology, the terminology is changed to give it emotional connotations. There's a frequent use of smear words or epithets or name calling, which are used to sway the audience for or against a particular person or a particular idea. And this definitely clouds the discussion, and it prevents a clear understanding on the part of the audience. This occurs in media presentations in the major broadcasting networks, NBC News, CBS News, Fox News, and in some of the newer web-based media channels and networks, such as the Tom Hartman presentation, Democracy Now!, and the Young Turks Network, just to name a few, where there is often very intelligent and worthwhile discussion, but where some of the discussion is confusing, partly because of the effort by the participants to persuade the viewers and the audience in one way or another, and the resort either consciously and intentionally or unconsciously to what represent cheap shots. A little later, I will present some more specific discussion of some of the examples from the presidential debate, the presidential candidates debate that took last night in Columbus, Ohio. This is the end of my introduction to this channel, and also to the discussion of the presidential debate and the problems of clarity and accuracy and honesty in discussion of major political, social, and economic issues over the internet. So thanks for participating, and stay tuned for some more detailed discussion.